How is again? I didn't do a video yesterday because I was doing a bunch of DIY stuff, and I'm still doing it. And it's good because the it's absolutely scorching here today. It might as well. It's probably hotter now than any day we had last summer. Again, because you explain to people because there's no air traffic in the sky. They go, hmm, hmm, hmm. Now, talking about the meat, uh, you know those people who said, "Oh, not my," the ones with Trump derangement syndrome, "not my president," or 45, because they wouldn't name him, "not my president." You know those people that have an absolute psychotic hatred of democratic vote and working class people voting. Well, you know who is their president? Their president is Bill Gates. That's who their president is. They look up to him like an omnipotent god who's going to get them out of this crisis with his vaccine. And even if the vaccine is not, see, there's no way the vaccine can be ready in time. Just can't. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer or anything like that. I'm just saying there's no way it can be ready in time. And so he's basically going on TV around the world telling people how the world will be. He is the, I mean, that's what you have. These people are saying things like, "Oh, Trump's a billionaire. I don't trust him because he's a billionaire. He's not my president." Number 45 are now fanatically devoted to a trillionaire who never even stood for election once. Now, and who comes from an aristocratic background of, eugenics and Planned Parenthood and all this kind of thing. Now, these people, these aristocrats, the reason why they want to, they want absolute control, but ultimately it's greed. If you watch Rich Planet, there's a new documentary on Richard D. Hall has a new documentary on. He makes some great films, but great old-fashioned investigative journalism. But it's on Microsoft and Bill Gates and this whole COVID-19 thing, and he nailed it perfectly. He absolutely nailed. I can't find any flaw in his theory. Bill Gates just wants to replace Windows operating software systems and upgrades that are highly profitable with vaccine operating systems, basically. So instead of having to go from Windows 95 to Windows XP to Windows 9 to Windows 10, whatever, instead of having to do that, he'll do it with vaccines, because he missed out on the mobile phone revolution, and the software, Android and Apple took over that. And so he's being the type of person he is. He has to have absolute control in terms of business and money, and the perfect business for him is another scam, like basically software. Once it's developed and anyone buys the license, I mean, he gets something like 40 personally, he gets something like $40 of every piece of software sold. You just add that up by the world business, and now, but those types, these maniacs, that's not enough. He really is a Mr. Burns type, and they become worse as they age, because as mortality rears its ugly head, they want to gather up as much money and power as they can before they meet their demise. And of course, there's a whole transhumanism thing to that as well. We'll talk about that another time, but later. But that's what it is. He just wants the vaccines to replace the Windows operating system. And so the vaccines can be rolled out every year. There's a new flu season, and he will get, vast amounts of money from his cut, just in the same way he did from his Windows operating system. And he's also a control freak, and he's power mad. He has to have complete control. It's really a cult in many ways when you think about it. And that's the world he comes from. That's the world he represents. Now, so he's the unelected president of the meat. Now, talking of the meat, the normies, or the NPCs, or whatever you want to call them, some friends of and I, and some friends and me and I have, not COVID, don't worry, have fucking midgie went down my throat earlier on. It's been stuck down there. A way around the AI interfaces and the AI checking on and the analytics on things like Facebook is to start talking in code. So we've decided to start using codes rather than using words. This way you're less likely to get picked up, reported and banned, because you're using a code word. The beauty of the codes, instead of using the actual word, is you can change them if they figure them out. Now you saw the chaos and the mayhem that the memes caused them. They were having nightmares over them, to the point where you had Discordian groups and chaos groups full of these like leftist upper middle class atheists. What are they even doing there? Calling them racist and stuff like this. Memes are racist and this kind of thing, even though the greatest display of chaos magic in history was the Keck thing. And it's racist. I'm a chaos magician, but I don't like Keck. It's racist. This is what you're dealing with. This is what you're dealing with. This is because we're now learning that a sizable proportion of the human race has no internal life, and they're only the result of exterior triggers. Now, so we've been using codes. A good one you can do is you can do simple things to begin with. Instead of using S's, use the $sign. So if you're having like a word that will definitely get you banned now is bitches, right? So you can do something like using 8 for the B and an S, a $sign for the S, for the S's. This is the kind of way we can get around them. It would just be this is the real occult, by the way, and so we're developing a glossary. And remember, it's arbitrary and it's adaptable, because eventually some purple-haired freak in community standards might figure it out, and then you start banning people doing it, but then you change it again and you change it again. But we've been using things like, well, the meat, that's the normies, the NPCs, whatever you want to call them, the meat. And they're just meat, short for meat golems. But like meat golem would probably be so popular now, it'll probably set off the AI interface or community standards. But the meat, what can you do about that? So another one was things like anything to do with vaccinations. They will be watching everything you post to do with vaccinations, even if you're not an anti-vaxxer. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I don't know. I sit on the fence on that issue predominantly. But I even know that if I was to even start a balanced discussion about it, I'd probably get banned, because if I didn't have unbridled faith in it. So the code word for that, anything to do with that, is needlecraft. And Bill Gates and anything to do with Bill Gates, the Bill Gates Foundation, is Windows 0. There's other ones we've come up with too. Muslims are jam jars. I'm not putting down all Muslims here. I'm talking about in terms of anything to do with jihad or Sharia law or anything like that. We've been calling them jam jars. And the reason why we call them jam jars is from that meme, help Amir find his friends, Arab man or yummy jam, because they wear those red and white checkered things that look like a jam jar, covering. And so we call them jam jars. And a mosque is a jam factory, and this kind of thing. Now these will totally terrorize the AI, and C333 will have a meltdown. Now we're still working on the glossary. I haven't had a chance because I've been doing work. I was busy on my day doing this stuff, DIY stuff. But things like that. Onesies is anything to do with globalism, one world government, new world order. Onesies, like a onesies outfit that a woman wears, and to go to bed. Onesies. And so there's loads of things, and you please offer your suggestion. Now the thing is, anything to do with COVID-19 and the behavior of China. In fact, the whole China is now synonymous with COVID-19, and anything to do with China and COVID-19 is now been reduced to P3. Now, how we got P3 was, it was ping pong pestilence. Everyone was using kung flu, but that sets them off. Kung flu, it's obviously they're talking about what you're talking about. And this also applies, see, it's very much like a sigil. It reduces everything we dislike about China, the government, the communists, the eating babies, eating animals, cooking dogs alive, this kind of thing. P3. And P3, P and the number 3. And that comes from ping pong pestilence. The 3P is reduced P3. And this is how we get, you see, I hear, we can't go on social media because the community standards, yeah, that's true. And the AI robots, yeah, but we're still, remember, we're the ones that have internals. We're not like Zuckerberg, who has no internal world. Look at him. We have an internal world, and this allows us to survive the way our ancestors survived in the past, using the occult. The only way to get out of this is to become an occultist. Sorry, Christians, but that's it. All occult means the hidden. And using this kind of language and using these codes, we're occultists in the truest sense. And it's just like people used palaver in the past, or Cockney rhyming slang, or black people in America had jive. It's a code we can talk under the man, and it's ideal for the internet, and this is the way we have to go. And so yeah, so if you're talking about Gates, and so for something like, if you were to say something like, the globalist and Bill Gates want to roll out the COVID-19 vaccine, how you would say that is, onesies and Windows Zero want to roll out needlecraft using P3 as the excuse. You see how easy it is? Now, the AI interface in social media won't understand that at all. Needlecraft? Oh, it's a hobby thing. Onesies? Oh, it's a women talking about their underwear. Windows Zero? What? They won't just see Windows. Is it talking about Windows in a house or Windows software? See, this is how we win. You see, I have been listening to all of you for years, going on, it's the end of the world. Oh, we're finished. Oh, it's all about energy. We'll just wait for the Schumann resonance. No, it's not going to do that. We're already in the mix now. We are already dissidents. We're already insurgents. Those of us who are not walking around a mask on our face 24/7, living in terror, quoting Bill Gates as if he's the Messiah. We're already refugees. You understand that? Me, the people who watch my videos, people like us, people who are sitting around going, nah, there's something not right with this whole thing, this whole lockdown pandemic thing. We're already refugees. Now, refugees, that means we're a tribe, right? How you really determine a tribe by their culture. And language is culture. And that's why this whole thing of talking in code, our own version of palaver, and is the way around it. And this is we're just like gypsies now. We have to develop this, and this is how we will grow in numbers. I mean, this is the future. Do you want to be sucked into the machine? If you do, that's your own business. Good luck to you. But I don't want to be sucked into the machine. I want to retain my ability to have imagination, and this is what this is really about. Now that it's come out that a sizable proportion of the human race don't have imagination, it's now scientifically quantified. They may be highly educated, they may have PhDs, they may be thick as shit, but they cannot conceptualize things inside their brains because they have no internal world. What they do is they work on a piece of paper, or they go get classes on it. So, for instance, if they're working, this is why they're so good in science, because there's nothing in there, so they can just give them a set of constants, formulae, and books of tables, and then on a piece of paper in front of them, using a scientific method, they can work out and make what are discoveries in the real sense, but they're not born out of imagination. They're born out of formulae and applying standards. Now, the rest of us, we have eureka moments. Ideas pop into our head, whether they're artistic, creative, scientific, business, whatever. But they're inside us. Now, I've even seen suggestions now to say that people who can work out things inside their head and have an imagination are mentally ill. Now, can you see where this is going? And again, you have Elon Musk now. Elon Musk has bedazzled first he bedazzled all the truthers and stoners and New Agers with smoking a joint on Joe Rogan. So he bedazzled them. Oh, he's just like me, smokes weed. I trust them completely. That's what they're like. That's what you're dealing with. And then the next thing is he put stars in the sky and he made them move. He's God. You understand? Are you listening to me? Many times I've been telling you magic is what these fuckers do. But it's not. It's stagecraft magic, right? He made the stars in the sky move. He's like God. I trust him. Right? And now what's in the paper today? He wants a neural network using the 5. See, this is another thing. We'll talk about this in a second. He wants everyone to have a chip inside their brain as part of this whole Internet of Things. And the central part of this is the 5G network. Now, while you morons, you retarded morons, and that's what you are in the alternative scene, who are saying that 5G directly caused coronavirus. Now, don't say you didn't say that. Yes, I know there are possible health implications of these high frequency systems and these high energy systems, but you were direct, don't lie, you were directly repeating and saying that 5G was causing coronavirus. Then you changed your story to kind of gaslight yourselves and to try and get your option out that you cannot create diseases, viruses with frequencies, okay? There's nothing to do with it. That you were played into a trap then, because the real thing is to use 5G to get inside our heads. Now, there's some very strange, we're all having bizarre dreams at the moment. Normally, the media wouldn't have an interest in our strange dreaming. But from everything from National Geographic to the Guardian to every other newspaper is talking about the strange dreams we're having during lockdown and what it means. So first of all, don't listen to what they tell you it means, because these are academics who'll tell you that what it doesn't mean. Secondly, how is this? What is causing this? Are they broadcasting into our skulls from some kind of network? This is what we have to be careful of. Are they putting thoughts into our heads at night? Are they making us into all super soldiers in a way? And they're obsessed. You see, again, man, Elon Musk there's nothing in there. He's a robot. So just like Gates and just like Zuckerberg, they're robots. They're flesh robots. And there's nothing in it. But what they're good at is deviousness. They know you're stupid. Not because they figured out you're stupid, but because they've read reports and studies from the Rockefeller Sound Foundation and so on, talking about how stupid the average person is. This is why there'll never be mandatory vaccines. I know you lot are obsessed with mandatory vaccines. Why did it have to be mandatory when 99% of the motherfuckers out there will be killing each other to get it? And they don't care if you don't want it, because they'll have the vast majority of these morons out there. And this is what you have to start thinking. And the old ways are gone. This time, I'm going to vote for someone who's going to get me this. Trump is the last time they'll ever let that happen. They'll never allow someone who's not from the career politics arena ever again to do this. In fact, we're moving towards a post-democracy time, as people are more likely to be swayed and follow the likes of Zuckerberg, Gates, Greta Thunberg, parents, and Elon Musk. So we're already moving into a post-political age. They will never let us have that ever again. Or so they'll have to come up with some other way of what Google said, a more refined version of democracy. So they'll never another Trump. And the last hurrah literally was Trump and Brexit. And they're never going to let you do that again. The political class and the corporations who will never allow this ever again. And this is why they want you in fear, and they want you squealing on everybody. I mean, Styx Hexenhammer 666 was bang on the money the other day. He made a video. He said the whole snitching thing is really aimed at destroying small business. Small businesses, that's who it's really aimed at the state. They want small businesses out of the way, and they want a world where it's Amazon and all this kind, Netflix and all this, who have complete control, because the consumer is the battleground towards the consciousness. If you can get them to buy anything, you'll get them to do anything. And they've had lots of rollouts of this long before they have this thing of the clapping the staff and the wearing the mask and the religion, the world war religion, as I said, is COVID-19. Before they had that, they had test runs. Remember checking in at Standing Rock? Remember that? That was a total psyop to see how compliant the meat were. What about the Ice Bucket Challenge? Oh, the meat were so compliant then. And there's been lots of things like that. The toilet paper panic buying was absolutely one of them. Absolutely. And so, don't be depressed by I'm not depressed by all this. If anything, it's put a fire in my belly. People said my videos now are the best they've been in ages, these monologues inside the car. They've been the best they've been in ages. And that's because this has put a fire in my belly. This has put a fire in my belly. I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to be stupid like a moron standing outside a government building with a machine gun saying, I don't want to be locked down. It is my right of America. Even if it's true, all you're doing is you haven't got it. The sad thing is they're going to die, they're going to lose, as a friend of mine said. All these people are preparing, they're going to lose because they don't have the weapons to take on the might of the U.S. military, or even any small military that's just so well equipped now. Even in Ireland, you couldn't take them on the military here. The armies are so very well equipped these days. The days of raggle-tag armies are gone. They're all very well equipped now, and that was again part of the agenda. And so you you're not going to get that. But what you can get is the one talking about using code and stuff like that, going on social media and talking in codes using the terms I've used amongst your friends and so on, and just destroy the AI interface and drive the purple dregs. That's another one you could call it, community standards. The purple dregs, insane. Drive them insane. So there's a lot to be hopeful for. And there's a lot of pleasure and satisfaction in doing this, knowing that you didn't surrender, knowing that you didn't go down. Contrast on the phone is nuts today. Knowing you didn't go down, knowing you didn't, acquiesce, and you were having fun doing it. We were having a great laugh the other day coming up with terms to use to get like in the codes to get around the AI interface and the community standards. It was a laugh, and that's how you have to be. Keep the song in your heart. So, thank you for helping keep the song in my heart, and watching these videos and sharing these videos. If you want to help me, there's a Patreon thing down there to help me if we ever get out of this place to make videos again. I want to go some places, and buy a book. And if you have no money, which a lot of you don't, I'm sure, just share the video around and spread the love and spread the hope and spread the stories. Because let me tell you something, if we don't write the stories going forward, the stories will be written for us. And what do you want? Your story going forward, or someone writing your story for you? Because the former is freedom and the latter is gaslighting. Take care of yourselves. God bless, and love you all.